Welcome to the NCAA Women's Championship, presented by Capital One. You're watching the first round, presented by Intuit TurboTax. And from Southern California, UCLA, the #1 team in America, the #1 overall seed in the field, is ready to get to work. They'll be facing the upset-minded 16 seed Jaguars of Southern, who already have a victory. And so do the Richmond Spiders, the #8 seed. A huge win over Georgia Tech just moments ago on this floor tonight behind their star Maggie Dugan, who had a spectacular performance. Now we come to you from the Bruins house, legendary Pauley Pavilion, where moments ago UCLA head coach Corey Close addressed her #1 team.
Done what you've done. You earned this position. You have an opportunity, and what are you going to do with it? How much attention to detail can you have? All that energy Coach Tasha talked about in the mind gym, all going towards all 13 people doing their job. Doesn't matter who comes in, they're ready. All their energy focused on do their job. There's a business-like approach of what we do. We know what we're walking into. We know what we've earned. And by possession, we're going to show. We don't need to tell. We don't need to talk trash about seeds. We don't need to do any of that stuff, because we will show with our actions.
#1 team in the country, 2 losses all season. Christy, they are serious about to get to work here, but you know the easy narrative is you got #1, #16, #1 team in the country. It's David and Goliath.
Well, you know how that turned out, so you just never know, right? It's March Madness for a reason, and this Southern team, Dave, they were so terrific in their last contest over over San Diego, and they were so tough in terms of how they were able to score against UC San Diego. They were able to do it in a myriad of ways. They were able to knock in threes early, and then they were able to get downhill in the second half when they took the three-point line away from them, and they did a terrific job.
Yep, we'll be hearing Holly Rowe in just a moment. Our United Airlines moving on, and this might be the one advantage that Southern has so far. They already have a win.
Yeah, absolutely. They were able to get the pitch back pass action going in that first half, and Reed, she was the recipient of those passes. They were able to run her off the line, and then she was able to get downhill. And then in that second half, it was Gordine. She was able to really manufacture some high-level offensive production, and she was able to lead the team in that way.
Going up against one of the great players in the country, the 6'7" junior Lauren Betts.
Well, Lauren Betts, she is a double-double machine. 20 points, 10 boards. She also averages 3 assists, and a lot of those have come when she has been double and triple teamed down on the block. She is a staunch defender. Matter of fact, she was Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year this season, and she has been a stalwart, and she's also up for National Player of the Year as well.
And for more, let's go to Holly.
Well, UCLA was reeling after they lost their last home game on this court to USC and lost a piece of the Big Ten championship. Corey Coates told us their team was hurting. They had a really tough meeting, players only. The players wanted to have a tough film session, hold each other accountable, and change that narrative. Moving forward, they went on to win the Big Ten championship tournament game. They say that what has changed is all 13 are going to do their job, and they are not going to play not to lose. They are going to go out and take it and play to win.
Let's see how sharp they are. They win the opening tip. It's their first game in 12 days.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right, Holly. I mean, that is exactly what they need from every single player. Rice gets fouled.
Kiki Rice, a 5'11" junior, takes a hit, and she'll be headed for the line.
You can see right here what UCLA wants to do. They want to get you in rotation, and right there, you saw Kiki Rice attacking that secondary line of defense that Southern had rotated to.
Tiana Lidge with the foul, the senior for Southern. UCLA at 30-2. They won their first 23 games of the season. They also got a win on a rare forfeit before finally losing to USC in mid-February, but they reached #1 after upsetting South Carolina in November. Held that spot for 12 weeks before losing to USC. Holly, by the way, is also working that bracket about 10 miles away. So she's done with this one. Holly Rose, sponsored by Uber.
There you go. Or soon will be.
On the drive, Edwards. And tipped out high for Betts.
Just solid defense by UCLA. It's a collective effort. They average 5 blocks.
Hawkes nails that one from the corner. The 6-foot junior dropping it in. Averages 10 points, about 5 rebounds a game. We look at the starting lineups brought to you by Capital One. UCLA off to a quick 5-0 start. And the pull-up pop. That's going to be banked in. On target by Gordine, the 5'9" senior, who's the top scorer at 12 points a game. Tiptoeing through the lane and a kick for Jones. London Jones with a drive and 2.
Now London Jones, she can put pressure on the defense just like that, ripping and attacking that baseline and getting that one to go. No defense coming over from that weak side for Southern in time.
Southern 23-14 during the season. They won the Southwestern Athletic Conference Championship in Atlanta to grab a bid to March Madness. They made some history on Wednesday, their first NCAA tournament victory over UC San Diego, right through the paint. Hawkes, and she'll draw the foul.
Hawkes, she has been the X factor down the stretch of the Big Ten regular season. She has really picked up her effectiveness and efficiency, especially on the offensive side. She is always moving well without the basketball, especially when Lauren Betts gets double and triple teamed. She's been able to find those creases.
Yeah, Corey Close was talking about her in the workout yesterday, and she said, you know what she is? She's a winner. She's a rock on this team. And averages less than a turnover a game all season long. And Corey Close, 14th year at UCLA. She's taken the Bruins as far as the Elite 8. That was 7 years ago. This UCLA team has eyes on a higher prize, no question about it. Looking for a national title.
Yeah, they're trying to hold each other accountable to that. And those team meetings that they've had and just the collectiveness on the mental side of things have really driven them down the stretch.
Southern with a long one here off the hand of D.K. Sanders, the Alabama State transfer.
She has been a really solid defender, probably one of their best on-ball defenders. That's why she has drawn the assignment of guarding Kiki Rice. She can also let it fly from range as well.
Betts with the touch, gets it off, and a nice shot there by London Jones. The 5'4" junior sticks it.
Yeah, the lefty loves driving left with that triple try, and she gets her feet set nicely with the quick release off the wrist.
On the drive, Gordine getting inside but can't finish it. Dugalich with the rebound. She's 6'4". No question about it. UCLA with a giant advantage size-wise in this one. And knocked out a play with 7:01 to go here in the first quarter. 11-5 UCLA.
Well, this is why Lauren Betts is so tough, right? She has a little handoff action right there with London, who just comes right off of that, catches it, and lets it go.
Lauren Betts, a 6'7" junior, just named AP first team All-American unanimous. You mentioned unanimous Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. She's going to wind up on a lot of All-American lists.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, she is one of the top candidates for National Player of the Year as well as Juju Watkins at USC.
The Southern with a nice strip though, as Betts got it in the low post.
You see this defense, you see Kiki Rice just swarming the basketball up top, trying to read and go over top on screening actions. They were working on that in practice.
And once again, it'll be Sanders with a miss this time. UCLA in the offensive zone. #1 team in the country. Big team, 9 6-footers for the Bruins. Jones again. Off the back of the iron, but it came out high. They'll get another opportunity. Rice feeding Betts. Betts trying to get into that painted area. So tough to keep her out.
Well, she went right away from that double team that was coming on the high side and attacked the baseline with ease.
And a traveling violation on Southern. The number 16 seed gives it up.
Well, this is why Lauren Betts is a walking double-double. She is poised on the catch. She surveys the defense coming from the high side, and she takes it low side for the finish.
The Stanford transfer, born in Spain. Before the family moved to Colorado, her parents both outstanding athletes at Long Beach State, Andy and Michelle.
Her sister's also on the way here.
Yes, Sienna coming to UCLA. She's 6'4".
She's a tough rebounder. Had a very successful high school season that just completed last week.
Something about that name Betts that gets attracted to Los Angeles. The Betts sisters and the great Mookie Betts of the Dodgers. That's where the Stars like to come.
Absolutely.
Jocelyn Tate up top here for DK Sanders. 13-5 UCLA.
Good job by Southern to get reorganized, trying to get a cross match, and that did not work out well.
Block shot by Barker, comes off the bench. The 6'4" junior using that size. Gardner will let it fly from three-point land. From the wing, she'll stick it.
It's just great defense to offensive activity by the Bruins. And Barker, she was the 6th player in the Big Ten this year, and she has been really dynamic defensively.
Yeah, transfer from Texas A&M. Can score 18 against Michigan State, so every once in a while. So inside 10 with a shot clock again. Got Betts in the air and a smooth-looking jump shot. That's by Sanaya Reed, who is the star of the Southern win against UC San Diego. She had 24 points.
Yeah, and she was just spectacular to start the game, staying aggressive, an attack mode mentality on the offensive end, and just a really soft touch, feathery off the fingertips in that mid-range on that last one.
She had 19 in the first half to lead the way in that win.
Well, defense turning into easy offense. Great block right there by Barker. She collects it. And now she's the initiator in the open floor. Dime that off for a triple. That's cash.
The NCAA Women's Championship is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? The first round presented by Intuit TurboTax. Now this is taxes. Oh, what a great time of year. The women's NCAA basketball tournament. UCLA, the overall number one ranked team in the country, but South Carolina is always right there on the edge of a championship. The Big Ten, what a great year. A record 12 teams in the NCAA field. And stars of March, we have plenty of them. And a lot of big ones in this game here at Pauley Pavilion, which is very fitting on this historic court. Where John Wooden won so many championships, so many great players have played right here.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, just the reverence when you walk in is really something for everyone, but most especially for basketball fans and basketball savants. It's just really a special experience to walk in here and feel all that history.
Your son's a really good player. He's going to Michigan State. He's going to play for Tom Izzo. And you walk down that tunnel, which is basically a Hall of Fame tunnel, just off the floor at Pauley Pavilion, and you were recording that to send to him.
I was. You know, I'm all about the foundation of basketball for both men and women.
Alasalo giving it up. Southern trying to convert on the other end. Tate can't do it, though. Jones with a pull-up block. A good decision, but couldn't hit it.
Yeah, I like that choice. The defense had filtered away from that shot opportunity. Great time to pull it. Let's see what Southern can get to right here. They're in their horn set. They like that elbow entry. And Corey Close wanted them to catch it higher than that elbow area in practice.
Here's Reed way downtown. Not this time. She got up to an incredible start the other night. And she is the best three-point shooter for the Jaguars. Carlos Funches. And he's a guy who has scheduled very, very aggressively, very tough over the years, like when Southern beat Oklahoma, just to be ready for the NCAA tournament. It's paid off.
Yeah, no question about it. He said that every opportunity that we have to play in the postseason is a championship game, like every single game, and that's the effectiveness and the urgency that they need to bring to the court on every single possession. And we've seen that. We saw that in their last game.
Sure did. And Reed stepping in with the thefts as the pass never got to Betts. High rebound, they'll get another opportunity.
And the one thing that Southern cannot do is settle for the threes. And I know that UCLA is big inside in terms of their size and rim protection, and they're not going to be able to get downhill as easily. But they can't settle for those triples.
Shot clock to 5. Reed will bounce it out. Got to get a long one in the air and a tip.
Before that UC San Diego game.
Nicely done by Betts. At a tough angle underneath.
I thought that she was too far under, but she was able to lean back and get that one to go. But going back to my point, before that UC San Diego game, Southern had only averaged 5 made threes on the season as Betts reaches in there.
She picks up her first foul. The number 2 scorer in the Big Ten behind USC rival Juju Watkins.
Look at Barker right there, sending that push-ahead pass right down into the great hands of Lauren Betts. I mean, just throw it in her direction and she's going to corral it, snatch it down, and finish. No dribble necessary, even though she had an awkward angle.
She'll take a little breather here with about 2.5 to go in the first quarter. Tate on the drive and a blow by. Got a really good look, but couldn't finish that. UCLA comes away with the board into the hands of Gardner.
When you're playing against a team like UCLA, your margin of error is so small. You've got to be able to finish shots like that one. If you can get downhill and beat your primary defender, you got to finish it.
Dugalich will dribble it out. And that's going to be a foul on Southern, and that'll go against Jocelyn Tate, the freshman from North Little Rock, Arkansas. We're talking about Coach Funchess and his 3rd NCAA bid and a huge win in the first 4 against UC San Diego on Wednesday.
Yeah, he did a tremendous job, and he said, you know, we probably won't get those same offensive reads because UCLA has scouted against it. And that's why I said they can't settle for those triple tries.
Gardner out of the corner. Rebound tip controlled by UCLA and a whistle. Dugalich takes a hit. The 6'4" grad with 1:56 before the end of the first. And 18-7 UCLA. Man, have the Bruins traveled this season. Some 36,000 miles for Coach Close and her team. 18,000 of those just for Big Ten games. And they opened the year in Paris against Louisville.
Yeah.
And yet, the 2 games they lost were like 10 miles away, within a 10-mile radius to USC. 19-7, and Southern with the basketball.
Well, Iverson action there, where they circle around the 2 players that are lodged at the elbows and trying to create some space, which is being disallowed by this long and lanky UCLA defense.
Lawson, shot clock winding down. Difficult angle there. Another offensive rebound, though, for the Jaguars. School located in Baton Rouge. And the follow is up, no good by Tate, but another follow is up and good.
Well, one thing this Southern team is going to do, they're going to continue to stay persistent, especially on the offensive glass. That was just the extra effort plays that are necessary against the #1 overall seed in this NCAA tournament.
UCLA defeating #1 South Carolina in November, 77-62. That was here at Pauley Pavilion. Losing 2 times to USC, once by 11, the other by 13 here at Pauley, and then beating USC in the Big Ten tournament title game, 72-67.
They took pride in the second half in that Big Ten championship game at the tournament in Indianapolis. They were going kind of back and forth in that first half, and in that second half, got over the hump.
Dugalich to the line, and a 79% foul shooter. UCLA already 6 for 7 at the line, and add to that, here in the first quarter, Betts coming back on, along with Barker. As UCLA is up 21-9. And the winner of this game will take on the Richmond Spiders on Sunday, who won their first NCAA tournament game as a program, knocking off Georgia Tech. They dominated that win on this floor earlier tonight. Dean giving it up on the spin move. Lawson loses it. Rice will shovel that one. Jaquez will draw the foul.
Boy, Kiki Rice just swiped that right away. As soon as the ball hit the deck, she was right in there. To be that swipe or no swiping. Watch Kiki Rice coming in on the help side, on the high side, just reaches right in and gets that basketball. And now she can push the basketball and get that tempo that UCLA craves.
So Jaquez to the swipe, the 6-foot junior. And usually a very reliable foul shooter at 83%. And coverage of the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship continues on CBS, TBS, TNT, and True TV. And for more, go to NCAA.com. The follow is good by Betts.
And she is just serpentining her way down inside so easily and keeping that basketball nice and high. So it's basketball 101. Don't bring the basketball down, keep it high, and finish high.
Leah Fontenot gets it up and around and good. 5'9" senior. She's from Fresno, Texas, and that's the last basket of the first quarter. With UCLA in control 23-11. The #1 against the #16 seed on the Bruins' home floor. About to play the second quarter. UCLA leading Southern 23-11. As we check out who is fueling the run, brought to you by Wendy's.
Well, it has been an attack mode mentality by UCLA. Out of the gates at this one, they have 8 paint points. They've been able to do it with a lot of different players in a lot of different ways. They've been hitting the mid-range shot as well. And then in transition, they've been able to get everything that they've wanted. Push ahead passes, scoring in the paint with Betts, but also getting those triples in transition as well.
6 different players have scored so far for the Bruins. For head coach Corey Close, just named the USBWA Coach of the Year. And when we were chatting with her yesterday, we knew that she had won the award. Didn't realize her team knew that. They raced over and basically mugged her.
It was great.
They were hugging her and shouting at her and congratulating her about that honor. It was very sweet.
Yeah, and they were zhuzhing her hair as well, which I thought was the best part of the whole thing.
Sure. Southern dumping it down low, and they get the quick strike for 2. Delia Porter, the 6'1" freshman, coming into the game.
Yeah, Porter did a good job of setting that screen, but she rolled properly at a great angle to finish the way that she did.
And a really quick answer by Jaquez on the other end.
Well, Jaquez, she has been very consistent over the last 10 games in particular on the offensive side. And Corey Close said, hey, she just flipped the switch in terms of what this team needed from her. And all 13 players have to do their job. That's what Corey Close said in the locker room prior to this game. And she took that to heart.
This time Porter can't finish it. She wins it back. And Southern can't get that one to go. And another good look for Dean, who's off to a very cold start. As their top player, 12 points, 5 rebounds a game for Southern. And a whistle before the shot. Another 3-point attempt by Jaquez. And this will go against UCLA.
Looked like Barker set an illegal screen trying to get Jaquez free on that strong side corner.
Her first.
Jaquez, her brother, Jaime Jaquez, plays for the Miami Heat, which is a great dynamic. And she didn't really get heavily recruited until late into the recruiting process. And she took that personally, she said.
Her brother's picture is up there in the hallway we were talking about. The Wall of Fame here at Pauley. And a tussle. And that one got a little bit physical as Kiki Rice was trying to pull the ball away, and a foul. 26-13.
And this is a 50-50 opportunity. Who wants it more? That's what March basketball is all about. Postseason play is about grit, and you have to commit to grit. But you also have to do it within the confines of the rules, and just a little extracurricular physicality down there on that rebound attempt.
And foul on Gourdine, who is the SWAC tournament MVP. And so UCLA ball and up by 13.
See Southern here in a 2-3 zone. Just trying to do something to try to take the paint away.
And another whistle, and they're starting to pile up here. 8:17 left before halftime. And a foul here against Southern. Inbounded for Rice. Gets it back. Arnisalo lets fly, and that'll drop down. Nice touch for a triple.
Well, Kiki Rice, she's just so smart with her decision-making for UCLA. And she was the recipient of the entry pass and then got it straight to the corner, knowing that that corner defender had picked her up.
Edwards tied up. Reed trying to make a move. A long one on the way and swished in by Edwards.
Just a little bit late on that rotation. You can't overhelp up the line, and that's what happened defensively for UCLA there. And you have to move on the flight of that pass. Those skip passes make it a little easier if you move as soon as it leaves the passer's hand.
Barker will touch pass and up and in by Betts.
And that's what those two have feasted on all season long. Barker, just the understanding of where and when Lauren Betts needs the touch on that high-low action.
Betts averaging 20 points, 10 rebounds a game coming in. One of the great shot blockers in the country as well. Rebound hauled in by Barker.
Yeah, Betts 2.9 blocks. So go ahead and give her 3.
Entry pass. She'll draw the foul before the shot, so no basket there.
But when you can get this level of impact, the high-low pass, she has an inside steal down inside, and Betts just does a tremendous job, as I said earlier, of keeping the basketball high on the catch. And it's up to Barker to put the ball there. She doesn't have to reach for it or leave her cylinder for the catch.
Harrison, her second foul, and a swish by Gardner, makes 38%. And percentage-wise, she's #1 on UCLA. She can be deadly.
Yeah, and she is just relied upon to be that X factor, especially to stretch the floor with Lauren Betts and her prowess offensively on the interior.
Reed on the backdoor feed. And a little floater here. That won't fall by Edwards. In transition, and here comes UCLA. Rice, your coffee buddy, your coffee bagel buddy.
Well, just ran into Kiki Rice walking the streets of LA, and we're both from the DMV, so that was pretty fun.
Like at about 7 in the morning or something,
Yeah,
right?
it was.
Crack of dawn.
It was.
You guys both getting an early start. 36-16. UCLA shooting 71% to this point in the contest.
And they've taken control by getting the ball inside and utilizing their advantage. If that's your advantage, then you might as well maximize it.
Fontenot took a look at the shot clock. Went for the backboard, couldn't get it. Rice wants to run. Rice will lift. And a rebound will go all the way into the corner, and that'll be Southern basketball as we toss it over to Holly Rowe.
Sky Castro checks in for Southern.
Well, guys, Tamia Gardner has been hot off the bench. You see her three-point shooting, and this is one of my favorite stories about her. She actually grew up in Utah, and her coach in AAU all of her life was UCLA great Natalie Williams, one of the few women who's ever been an All-American in both basketball and volleyball, played both sports here. Natalie mentored Tamia since she was just a little girl, and now it's really special. Tamia transferring here to Natalie's alma mater and playing in the gold and blue. Pretty cool full circle moment.
Coach Close really raving about how she stepped into a leadership role with this team. And she's really the mama bear for everybody.
Oh, she is.
This group.
Just a great leader. Look at this defense. Outside hand, getting that deflection and the steal.
That's going to be off UCLA. So the Jaguars will take over. And Southern got a great lift out of their bench in that first victory against UC San Diego. Hit 33 points off the bench.
Yeah, they did. I mean, they can go 10 or 11 players deep with comfortability. And a lot of coaches can say that at this juncture of the season. You usually go 7 or 8. And what I like to say is 7.5, you know? But they can go 10 or 11 at all times and stay consistent and not miss a beat.
Reed with a turnover. On the solo, the freshman. Gardner lets fly. And Southern comes away with the board, so the Bruins one and done. UCLA this season led wire to wire in 15 of their wins, and we've got a timeout with 4:26 to go before the break here in the first round. Now look at the ball movement.
Yeah, just make the extra passes, and then the spacing on the floor against the zone. Hit the sweet spot, right in the slot, mid-range. That's a deuce.
Coming up on This Degree in the Studio halftime report, Megan McEwen, our Hall of Famer, Coach Muffet McGraw, Kelsey Riggs-Cuff going to be with you. We're talking about Duke, and if you're talking Duke, you're talking defense. We got a little history. What do you like from the #1 overall seed, though?
I like the offense we're seeing. If we're talking about UCLA, 5 made threes already, 11 assists on 12 made buckets, sharing the sugar.
Exactly. I love the balance. There's nobody in double figures yet. Everybody's handling the ball.
Looking pretty good, Dave and Christy. We'll see you in a couple minutes.
Kels, look forward to that. 36-16 UCLA.
Well, UCLA has just been magnificent in terms of their ability to make the extra passes necessary, giving up the good for the great. They have 11 assists on 12 made shots, and that's exactly what you want it to feel like. It is the golden rule, right? Treat people how you want to be treated. If you're open, you would like to have the basketball where you can score the ball for the team, and that's what UCLA has presented so far in this first half.
Well, 13-3 run they're working on, and defense, big part of that. Southern scoreless in almost 3.5 minutes.
Well, they've had some good looks, especially down in the paint, and you can't turn it over, obviously. And I said the margin of error is so slim.
Salo left it behind. Loose ball scooped up by the Jaguars.
Well, one thing Southern's going to do as well is they're going to defend, and they're not going to quit on the next possession. They have amnesia. If they made an error, they're going to come right back and fight for the possession again.
Sky Castro really looking for the ball, commanding it. She'll set a screen now. Dean on the drive, nicely done for 2.
Yeah, that was silky smooth. Just found a way to get downhill and stretch beyond that defender. Right there at the cup to get a nice finish.
And a whistle, and no basket, no shot, and that one will go the other way with 3.5 minutes to go. 36-18. Well, we mentioned that D.K. Sanders, the 5'4" grad out of Birmingham, Alabama, is a transfer from Alabama State. What a moment they had the other night. Her fiance, in fact, in the NCAA First Four as they won this game against St. Francis and celebrating an incredible victory. The long outlet pass, and they got that one to go just in front of the horn for the win. And Amar Knox, the hero there. Let's toss it for more to Holly Rowe.
Well, we believe it's the first engaged couple to get an HBCU win for their respective school. The first win for Southern, the first win for Alabama State. They are engaged, and Amar followed up that game winner with an incredible performance against Auburn, leading Alabama State in scoring with 19 points. This is love and basketball at its finest. Such a cute picture, and DK is playing very well for Southern as well. She had a pretty big game herself for the Jaguars, but we love a good love and basketball story here in LA.
Yeah, no question about it. Love and Basketball, that's my favorite movie, so it makes a ton of sense. But it's just so cute to see that dynamic. You know, they can go in the gym and do what they need to do and get the work done, and it shows on the court for both of them. So it's just a really cute story about that kind of connection.
I'm sure it's a beautiful story. I didn't hear a word of it because the Southern band was rocking and rolling over there, and they have really stolen the show here at Pauley Pavilion for another night. They not only play, they play with exuberance, and they're really good.
The human jukebox is what they're called, and it's just amazing. HBCUs standing proud in the postseason for Southern University.
The fans love them. University founded in 1880. In all those years in Baton Rouge, they've never had a finer band.
Absolutely correct. My shoulder is still moving. A little extra they just did.
Really good.
Super fun.
And here's Sanders out the logo. Under 3.5 to go before the break.
Looks like some zone here by UCLA as well. 2-3. Trying to push Southern out.
Gordine with the entry pass and a whistle. That was with just 7 on the shot clock. UCLA committing to personal foul.
With UCLA and their ability to utilize their long arms and long legs, I mean, it doesn't really matter what defense they set up schematically. They're going to take up space. And they're going to be crowding the area, so that zone, it must be daunting to look at a zone like that.
Gotta be.
The perimeter players at 6'1", 6'2", and then Lauren Betts sitting in there at 6'7".
A back shot here by Gordine. Don't know if she meant to.
But no way she saw the basket with Lauren Betts standing right there. She just said, I think the basket is somewhere this way. Let me utilize the window.
Just get it up there in the backboard, right?
For sure. Look at Lauren Betts down inside, battling, saying, swing the ball this way. Kiki Rice.
Dribble down, back out for Rice. Shot clock to 7. And a pull-up pop, airmailed by Rice. It never got to the rim. And so turnover. We'll go back to Gordine shooting over Betts.
Well, watch this. She gets downhill, and then Lauren Betts is waiting for her down in there, and she just said, let me just use the float game and try to get it off the window. She didn't even flick her wrist. She just kind of launched it up there with a smooch off the window to make sure it went down.
Castro got it up there, but it won't drop for her.
You've got to make those quick decisions because Lauren Betts, if she doesn't block it, she's going to change your shot mechanics for sure on that.
And a foul here is going to go against UCLA. That's against Rice. Let's go over to Holly.
Well, you saw Anaya Gordine make that shot over Lauren Betts. I have to imagine she's pretty good at those because she's been practicing with and against Angel Reese for much of her life. They were childhood friends in the Baltimore area. They played AAU together, EYBL together, where they won championships, and they were high school teammates at St. Francis Academy. I got a really cute shout out for Angel Reese. We're still trying to load that into video, but just in case you're not, you can see it on my social media. I just tweeted it out.
Love it. The DMV is well represented in this game for sure, with Kiki Rice being from Signal Friends. And
the bounce. That's up and in for 2+1. I'll tell you what, Southern continues to hang in the game. Getting it downstairs for a quick one.
Well, they have been persistent. Look at that pass. Just pinpoint pocket pass to that weak side and count it up.
Lawson continued to fight after the contact.
And she got right inside of Kiki Rice on that cut. And Rice was out of position there. Lawson can't pay it off on the line.
Nope, 75% at the line, but a miss.
Southern on a 6-0 run right now. They've been able to get the stops. They've dialed it up on defense. Look how tough it is to make plays, especially out here on the perimeter. They are swarming.
Southern is badly outsized, but they're very well coached. Jones with the feed, Betts, and it's a traveling violation. So no basket for UCLA. And they have not scored in over 5 minutes.
We'll give credit where credit is due, and it's all about the defensive energy and rotations. You're right where you need to be, forcing the travel and turnover by Betts. Up the line, help the helper, rotate on a string, and sit in a stance and take the hit.
Great job by Deshante Edwards to get in there and force that travel. The little baby steps by Betts. So under a minute before halftime. And maybe not the score many were expecting this early in the game. And that one knocked down by Tanaya Lawson. And here comes Southern, 36-24.
That was a fearless bucket. And the bucket-making ability continues for Southern.
Betts again fighting hard, and she'll be headed to the line. Lauren Betts, the All-American, looking for a three-point play.
Well, when you need a bucket, you know exactly where to go. You go right into your 6'7" stalwart on the interior. Lauren Betts, great hands, just maneuvers around the second line of defense that was there to help, to no avail. And there's the tag, the breaking of the principle of verticality right on the arm.
She has 10, along with 3 rebounds, looking for a three-point play. Can't finish that. 38-24. Southern still hanging around here at Pauley Pavilion.
They've had a solid stretch here in the second quarter defensively, and they've been able to make buckets to pay it off on the other side after missing a lot in that first quarter.
Lawson off the fake, getting it downstairs. A well-run play and a basket by Castro.
Yet again, staying methodical, not being rushed by the size and speed of UCLA.
5 seconds to get off a shot before halftime. Monticello gave it up. Here's a long one coming at the horn, and that doesn't touch anything by Gardner. So a late run by Southern kind of nosed their way back into this thing. 38-26, a 10-2 run.
A 10-2 run, and it was brought to you by the defensive energy and attention to detail by Southern. Fearless activity created off of their great defense. Got right what they wanted. Great two-player action. Layups inside.
Let's go to Holly.
Here with Gabriela Jaquez. And Gabriela, you guys got off to a really good start, but Southern is making a run right now. What do you got to be mindful of coming back?
Taking care of the ball and just getting the game in our pace. We can take control. And I think they're a good team. They're going to be aggressive. They're going to make a run, but we got to stop them at the end of the day. And I think we'll do a good job coming out at half.
You guys did a nice job in that first quarter offensively, moving the ball. A lot of people scored, got looks. Tell me what was flowing there that you can get back to.
Yeah, I think just moving the ball, finding shooters, and making good passes. I think when they turn us over, we got to stuff we can't score without the ball. I think that's a huge thing.
Thank you so much, Gabriela.
Thank you.
Jaquez with 8 points. UCLA in a much tighter game than many might expect. We're at halftime here at UCLA. Now back to the studio with Kelsey, Muffet, and Megan. Welcome back to the NCAA Women's Championship presented by Capital One. You're watching the first round presented by Intuit TurboTax. And from UCLA, the Bruins probably with a tougher tussle than they expected at this point. 38-26. They had the lead on Southern. Southern with a 10-2 run the last 3 minutes and 45 seconds of the half. David, Christy, and Holly with you. Your thoughts about the first half that we've seen so far?
Well, I thought that they were very deliberate, UCLA was, at getting the ball to Lauren Betts in the first quarter. But in that second quarter, you saw Southern turn UCLA over in that first half 10 times. They were able to score 8 points off of those, and it's an 8-2 advantage in points off turnovers.
Give you a look at our Capital One rewarding performance as we get set for the second half here at UCLA.
Well, it was a dominating performance by UCLA early. They were able to get what they wanted, especially in transition. They were knocking down threes, and when they weren't doing that, they were getting the ball down in the trenches to Lauren Betts at 6'7". She was making it look easy with 2 or 3 bodies in her space. But then came along that staunch defense that we were talking about. Stout defensive effort forced points off turnovers, 10 forced turnovers and 8 points off of those. And then Southern got clicking, and that has been their MO all season long, turning their defense into highly efficient offense.
Let's toss it over to Holly Rowe.
Well, I was able to catch up with Coach Funchess at halftime, and he said they got off to a little bit of a shaky start. Southern is usually a more confident team. He said, but we settled in. We just have to keep moving the basketball. When we space the floor, when we drive and kick and move, we can be dangerous. He said, we just were a little tentative, didn't finish well at the rim, but he said, just keep moving that ball and good things will happen.
Well, this team had 9 different players score, and the top scorer, Gordine, only had 6 points. And yet they only turned it over 5 times. UCLA 10 times.
Right, and that makes a difference. Right, you have to maximize your possessions and preserve your possessions on the offensive side, and you have to finish. And that's what I thought too. In that first quarter, Southern didn't get those chippies, those bunnies down inside to go in. But Lauren Betts, I mean, she averages 3 blocks a game. the Big Ten's Defensive Player of the Year. So just her presence alone, I mean, even the shadow of her presence is going to change how you shoot the ball.
And that's going to go the other way. 9:49 to go, and that foul against Hawkes. She'll pick up her first.
Very close, wanted a flopping call on that one. You saw her hands motioning, 2 hands down to the ground.
So Southern an opportunity to get a little bit closer. Long one from the corner, but airmailed by Edwards. And let's see if Betts gets a lot more touches early here in the third. Instead, it's going to be Dugalich with a long one. Gourdine lets fly, and it barely got to the iron.
You can tell Gourdine, she had that little jab step. I thought she was getting ready to go and attack that hip.
Pull up pop and swished in by London Jones.
And London Jones loves to feast on the left side of the floor. She's a left-handed player. So right there, she just needed one dribble to create the space necessary to get to that short corner pull-up.
There's the block by Betts. Edwards hit the deck, no foul.
Oh my goodness.
And Betts will take the hit. 8:41 to go in the third. And back to the block.
Well, this is why Lauren Betts is such a powerful and stout defender. I mean, there's just no way that shot had any chance whatsoever. She just gobbled that one up and left no crumbs.
She set a UCLA record with 9 blocks against Baylor, number 25 team in the country. She's had 56 of them in the last 15 games. Out of the post. Dugalich with a miss.
Let's see what Southern can create down here on the offensive side as they try to survey the defense, and they look like they're going to go underneath on the screens, just kind of baiting them into taking those long-range shots.
And Sanders missed it from long range. Betts again out of the double. Nice can't finish, and that's going to be another whistle underneath. Southern will pick up the personal. Number 16 seed, the Southern Jaguars, and the number 1 seed and the number 1 team in the country, UCLA. And the Bruins headed to the line. And for the 5th consecutive year, every NCAA Women's Championship game is on the networks of ESPN. For more information, go to ncaa.com. Your home for all 90 NCAA championships. Dugalich, the graduate. UCLA really superb on the glass. She's one of their best rebounders, and 3 of the Big Ten's top 25 rebounders wear the Bruins uniform.
I love the interchangeability of Dugalich, especially on the defensive end. I mean, they like to switch, and she can defend multiple positions on the court for Corey Close.
UCLA plus 11 on the glass so far tonight. Barker back on now for UCLA. Southern has started the second half chilly, 0 for 4.
That's that horn set. They try to re-screen it, but UCLA is staying right in those gaps. Look at that defense.
Edwards denied in the paint. Shot clock to 10. Long one off the iron by Fontenot. UCLA turning it over, though, and that's been a real issue tonight.
That has, but give credit to Southern for getting back defensively there in transition to take that easy touch from Betts away.
Barker got the block on the other end. Hawkes all the way through for 2. Nobody picked her up, and she lays it in.
Well, you know exactly where she's going. You got to beat her to the spot. You can't run along the side of her. Get to where she's going, wall up and contest.
Hawkes with 10, along with 4 rebounds and a foul. With 7:02 to go in the third, and UCLA starting to open it up.
Yeah, looking like her brother Jaime Hawkes on this one. Just taking it straight line drive to the rim for the easy deuce in transition.
So Southern to check it in. A foul win against London Jones, by the way, her first. Lifted Fontenot, no. And continues to be a lid on that basket for the Jaguars.
You just can't settle again, right? That's what happened in that first half a little bit by Southern. They're better off by keeping UCLA at bay with great spacing and cuts.
Rice is open and swishes in the three.
Well, that is something in the arsenal for Kiki Rice that has improved.
And a timeout. Carlos Funches takes the timeout as UCLA has really gotten it rolling and now leading at 47-26.
Well, Kiki Rice found herself on an island up top. And that is some fried rice right there for three.
Well, Southern made a little run in the first half. They are getting a lot from their star, Anaya Gourdine, and she has a big fan in childhood bestie, Angel Reese, who sent us this shout out.
Good luck with the tournament tonight. This is your very first tournament. I'm super excited for you. Putting on for HBCUs, putting on from Baltimore. We literally grew up together. Literally, we're best friends growing up. From 3rd grade to high school, we was playing with each other, learning how to play basketball together, to winning a championship together, to playing in high school together, to you going to college. And I'm just super proud of you, the growth on and off the court, everything that you've been through, you've gotten through. I'm so happy for you. And tonight, just go out there and kill it. It might be nerve-wracking a little bit, but you don't get nerves. You've been here before. You've been on the biggest stage before, and go out there and kill it tonight. And I guess I can say it for Louisiana. Go Jags. Period.
So because Southern is in Baton Rouge, Angel thought it was okay to say go Jags. You know, of course, she played in Baton Rouge for LSU, but Gourdine has had a fabulous season, leads this team in scoring, and, you know, played at Temple for a couple of years. They had such a great childhood together playing at St. Francis Academy, and I love that Angel sent her that cute shout out. And shout out to Angel, who was just named Defensive Player of the Year for the Unrivaled League and first team all Unrivaled.
Yeah. Awfully sweet of her to take time. She's very busy.
Oh, I love that. Angel Reese, one of the best out of the DMV area. That is a quote by Kevin Durant saying there's something in the water for the boys and girls who have come through the DMV area. Angel Reese with a nice, sweet shout out there for Gourdine and Kiki Rice and Miss Dudley as well. Kendall Dudley, who is a freshman on UCLA's team. Her mom was the coach at Sidwell Friends with Kiki and Kendall. Fun times.
Meanwhile, here at Pauley Pavilion, UCLA starting to get it cranked. Getting the offense rolling. Gardner tied up. And a held ball, so the possession arrow will be for Southern.
I just love how disciplined Southern is on the defensive end. It doesn't matter who you're playing, it matters how you're playing. You can see that shining through for the Jaguars for sure.
Southern a lot of trouble scoring here against the UCLA defense. Southern is 0 for 7 since halftime and 0 for 5 from three-point land. They put that to rest. And it's Gourdine to knock it down.
Yeah, Gourdine has really found a lot of success with that mid-range floater. And she has to float it up over Lauren Betts' outstretched arms at 6'7". But she has a nice soft touch.
Betts handing off for Rice. She'll let fly short. Ooh. Rebound picked off. UCLA trying to get it right back up there. Another tie-up on the play.
Oh, Barker came flying in there. Hopefully she's okay. She gets up a little gimpy. Take a look. Here's Kiki Rice getting that handoff from Betts. Tell Barker seems to be pain there. Trying to shake it off.
Yep, she'll hang in there. UCLA ball on the arrow. And another whistle. It's getting very physical here all of a sudden in the third quarter.
Rerouting of a cut. Can't do that. Displacement.
And Lawson, her second foul for Southern.
Porter checks in for Southern. For UCLA number 0 tonight, Barker to the line.
And so it'll be Barker to the line. Junior from Marietta, Georgia, who makes 65%. Named the Big Ten Sixth Player of the Year. Transfer from Texas A&M. UCLA earning the overall #1 seed in the tournament for the first time in school history. Really did it on the shoulders of their crunching defense, holding opponents below 60 points a game, rejecting about twice as many shots as their opponent.
Yeah, but they have been steady, and they've had so much balance, and I think that has been the beauty of Corey Close's team. They have a wealth of depth, like 8 players who average more than 5 points a game.
Well, there's Gardner getting her hand on another rejection. Went up for another one. Rebound controlled by UCLA.
Or you're just going to overshoot shots when you have those long arms in the way, and your mechanics definitely get adjusted.
That's the All-American going to work. Once again, a big rebound by Barker, who's really working hard to get to that glass, and draws the foul. 4:35 to go in the third here at Pauley Pavilion. And it's turned into a beautiful night here in Southern California. It's UCLA by 20 as we check out tonight's game track, brought to you by Invesco QQQ.
Well, you love to see the connectivity that UCLA has been able to apply in this game. They are so unselfish. They love to push tempo, and that has broken the game open here a bit in the second half. They've gotten free and easy triples because the attention that Lauren Betts draws defensively. You're going to sag in so she can't get easy looks. And then what do you get out here? A wide open triple. So they've been able to maximize and make good reads on the offensive end to increase their lead here.
Their lead at halftime was 12. And look at the assists. Passing the ball very effectively. Only lost 2 games all season long, both of those to rival USC. Janiah Barker at the line. Smooth on that one.
14 assists on 16 made buckets for the Bruins, and you love to see that, right? And this is a team that has so many players who can impact the game offensively and could easily go for 30, right? But when you spread the wealth, it just makes it so much more difficult for the opponents to defend you. I don't care what kind of scheme they come up with, it's just tough.
UCLA with 3 double-figure scores in Betts, Jaquez, and Rice. And a lot of players who get 6 to 8. And another possession arrow to keep it on this end with 4:20 to go in the quarter.
I love the hustle. I mean, both teams trying to preserve the possessions down on the ground.
And the Jaguars winning the SWAC regular season and tournament titles to grab another bid in the NCAA tournament. In the first 4 on Wednesday against UC San Diego, they recorded the first win in school history as they won that game 68-56 here at Pauley Pavilion.
I love that confidence when you come riding high with that kind of championship mentality on your mind.
He drives it. Betts waited at home to block the shot, and it'll be UCLA ball.
You just have to be very decisive when you take the basketball right to Lauren Betts. She's going to return to sender more often than she's not. I mean, she averages 3 blocks per contest, the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year because of her stout defensive effectiveness on the inside.
No, she was really born to be an athlete, right? Her mom, Michelle, played volleyball at Long Beach State, on a national champion in '93. Her dad played professional basketball in Europe for 14 years after starring at Long Beach as well. And a whistle. And Southern tries to do everything they can to keep Betts from turning to the basket.
Lauren Betts and her story, I mean, she started at Stanford and transferred here to UCLA, but it hasn't been an easy journey for her. Off the court, I mean, being 6'7", and kids are mean.
Let's go to Holly.
And you know, Christy, to your point, Lauren came out with a wonderful article on ESPN.com and talking about, you know, she grew up in Spain until she was 8 years old, and she said, I remember being in kindergarten and I was 5 feet tall. She was so tall, just so many kids were so cruel to her. And she said, I've been trying to get over the stigma of being the tall girl, and I realized I'm more than just a basketball player. I'm someone that my family loves and counts on. And she got through a lot of the tough times with bullying by writing in her journal and writing things down and really trying to talk herself up. And I love that she was so vulnerable and really sharing with the world the struggles that she has been through. So if you get a chance, read that article on ESPN.com. It's wonderful. And Lauren Betts is such a wonderful example.
Aishwarya Kumar was the one who wrote that article. It's a terrific piece. Highly recommending that. And that's not a house job. That's not just because it's ESPN.com. When you watch a world-class athlete like Lauren Betts, maybe one of the last things that enters your mind is, oh, she's got problems. She might suffer from anxiety, depression, whatever. In the article they talk about, she talks about how she wound up in a hospital and thinking very dark thoughts at that point in her life. But it's a tribute to her spirit, her courage, her talent, and her great family that she is, the young lady that she is, the athlete that she is right now. It's an amazing piece, so we encourage you to read that.
Absolutely. You have to go through adversity sometimes to realize who your circle really is, right? And I was that tall girl in 6th and 7th grade, the tallest in the class, the back of the line, and all of those things and all those names that were in jest but really did hurt, right? And I understood a lot by reading that, but yeah, you're right, Holly, the vulnerability in that was very special and will open up a lot of doors for others who are going through it as well.
It's going to be an over and back here, 52-29. So it'll be Southern ball. 3:07 before the fourth quarter. Very close, 14th year. And she's had a team that's gone as far as the Elite Eight. She's got a lot more weapons on this team, she says. Dreams of a national championship here at UCLA. Betts up for the rebound.
Well, they have just come together and held each other accountable. And there's integrity behind the accountability, which makes this team special.
Entry for Betts, went to the left. Can't get it to drop.
She doesn't miss many right there, point blank range.
Tate pushing the tempo, and a whistle and a foul here against the Bruins. Southern with just one made field goal and one foul shot in the third quarter.
But still, the energy and the inspiration coming from the bench and the fans of the Southern team, you wouldn't be able to tell that they've struggled mightily to score. You know, they've just stayed on the next play.
Yes.
And that has been evident throughout this game, whether they're having a surge of offense or not.
Got a lot of good players on the drive, and there's another one by Tate. Just a freshman showing absolutely no fear.
Yeah, that's what they need. And the coaches say, you know, she's the best defender that they have, that she can also get a bucket.
Masalo trying to go to the rim, but draws the foul. Southern with a straight line drive.
Now watch this. A rip and go. Attack the hip. A little ball fake to the left. Opens it up on the right. To take off and finish. Look at how the seas parted defensively there for UCLA. Barker couldn't get there in time. Swift of foot. Getting right downhill with some pressure at the rim.
Masalo, the freshman from Helsinki, Finland, at the line, making 77%. A whopping advantage for the Bruins at the foul line. They have made 16 of 21. Southern just 1 for 3.
See if they can manufacture a couple more attempts by continuing to attack, and that's one thing that Southern's going to do. The high ball screen right here. Oh,
Tate with a terrific fake and a finish.
That's what I call a bus stop hesitation. Stop the bus, get off the bus, and then get the bucket. Oh my!
Beautiful.
Ooh, ooh.
You can see some talent there in Jocelyn Tate, and maybe a star in the making for Southern.
Yeah, that move was vicious.
Barker gets a look. She had both feet on the line, so that would have been a 2. And Sanders will walk it up now for Southern.
And Southern is clicking offensively. All 5 players are moving. They look a little stagnant on this particular possession. Trying to get that elbow entry and trying to get Reed free, but they have just smothered her defensively in this game.
Yeah, Wednesday night, she had a much easier time getting open. Shot clock down to 1. She's going to have to heave it. Didn't touch anything, so that violates the shot clock. Reed had a career high 24 on Wednesday against UC San Diego. Only 2 points tonight.
Yeah, Coach Funchess, he said, hey, listen, we probably won't get those same looks as we were getting on those pitch-back actions up top where she was able to knock in those threes. And they ran her off the three-point line. They ran Reed off the three-point line. She was able to get downhill. But she hasn't even really gotten that level of freedom by UCLA, who has just covered her extensively and almost exclusively and taking her sweet spots and her skill set away.
Inside the last minute before the 4th quarter, Rice plowing ahead, and she'll draw the foul.
Kiki Rice was trying to find a sliver of space to attack. And right there, not square to Kiki's shoulders on that play, and that's why that block was whistled on Bourdin.
And Rice to the line, 86%. UCLA's best. Big Ten play, 88%. It's an outstanding foul shooter. Keep that in mind the rest of the way for the Bruins. Rest of the way in the tournament. They get into some really tight games.
I love the 6 assists by Kiki Rice. She is such a great organizer and conductor in the quarter court.
Tomorrow morning, you're going to meet for coffee again? You two? You're going to make that a habit?
We got to figure that out. I mean, that was so sweet. I'm waiting for my order, and then here comes Kiki walking in the shop there.
Yeah, one of the best players in the country, just sauntering in. And
yeah. We go way back. I've known her since she was probably 5th or 6th grade and played 2 years up on an AAU team with my daughter with the Matrix with Phil McConnell, and it was fun times, but she's always been extremely skilled.
And Rucher's shot barely gets there. Last seconds of the 3rd, and Asalo gets free. Up ahead, Gardner will launch it right away, swish it in. And a big 3. Chance for a heave at the end of the 3rd, well short. And UCLA with a really impressive 3rd quarter as they blow the game open here against the Southern Jaguars.
Well, just when you're under duress in the backcourt, under pressure, big bucket making ability for the Bruins.
Fourth quarter coming up. UCLA, the #1 team in the country, with a 59-33 lead on the Southern Jaguars. Let's look at our scoring by quarters as we get set for the 4th here in our NCAA women's first-round matchup. Now here's our bracket. The winner of this one will take on the 8th seed, the Richmond Spiders, who blew out Georgia Tech, the 9th seed, 74-49. Really impressive performance by the Spiders. Their first win in the tournament ever.
Well, they were surgical in their pursuit of a victory for the first time in their program. And I just thought that they just stayed consistent with how they attacked and how they spread Georgia Tech out and then attacked them in a myriad of ways on all 3 levels. So it wasn't just they spread them out and attacked with straight line drives. No, they were straight line drives, spray outs for 3s, spray outs for 1-2 dribble pull-ups in the mid-range. And then they defended well. They took everything away from Georgia Tech. And
they've got a big-time start, too, and Maggie Dugan with 30 and 15.
Solid.
Had a tremendous game. Also a bunch of assists in that game. Speaking of surgical, UCLA outscoring Southern 21-7 in the 3rd quarter. So they made a game where Southern was still connected.
Right.
Only down 12 going into the second half. Well, turned it into this.
Well, they tripled them up. They got to the offensive boards. 10-2 advantage on second chance points for UCLA. So when you maximize your possessions and score and pay it off, that opens up things.
Rice lifting, got a good look, absolutely buried that three-pointer.
Well, that was just a tough bucket right there by Kiki Rice. Her last triple, she was wide open because of a double team on Betts. That one, a well-contested three.
The pull-up up on the other end by Tania Lawson.
There's that pressure. 2-2-1, and they're going to throw a lot of different defensive schemes with their press in the full court, but they've got to be able to score the ball to apply that level of pressure.
Rice for Gardner. And rebounded away by the Jaguars. They want to run a bit. Sanders with a pull-up pop and swishes that in.
Oh, that's just a bold bucket. There are no rebounders back here. Teammates hadn't come down the floor yet. And she pulled up a contested mid-range and cashed it in. I mean, that's the no-fear ability of this Southern team. They just are on the next play, on to the next play.
Betts, and no answer for that. Lauren Betts, the All-American, with 2 more. And she has 14. And the Jaguars throw that away. Really haven't turned it over that much tonight.
Yeah, right here, Kiki Rice again, being able to get the ball right down where she needs to put the basketball for the team, and that's in Lauren Betts' hands. She had a mini-me on her. Sanders was down there. She wasn't going to be able to do anything because of the way Betts keeps the ball high.
Lauren Betts knows exactly what she does well. That one off the iron. She has never attempted a three-pointer in her career.
And she doesn't need to. Take it back to the old school. Just dominate where you can dominate.
Lidge with the basket, the 6'4" senior. And a timeout with 7:34 to go. And UCLA will grab one here, 64-39 the Bruins.
Well, UCLA has picked up steam here in the second half, but Southern, they're not going away.
The NCAA Women's Championship is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? Well, the stars shine in Los Angeles, and 2 of the best in America, and Lauren Betts and Juju Watkins at rival USC, battling for supremacy in the same city.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, these have been much-watched TV games all season long. The 2 regular season games won by USC, and then the championship game in the Big Ten tournament won by UCLA.
Holly, it's a Betts magnet, Los Angeles, because Lauren's here, Mookie's here, and Lauren's sister's coming.
That's right. That USC-UCLA matchup's going to be even more interesting next year when there's 2 Betts. That is Sienna Betts sitting there in the middle. I believe that's their brother Ashton also. Sienna is 6'4". She's just been named Player of the Year in the state. I think won a state championship too. And Lauren said she is going to return for her last year so that they will have a year to play together here at UCLA. So lots of action for the Betts family. And I think the brother is going to go to Colorado if the internet is correct from what I've been stalking.
Oh, man.
Yeah, wearing a UCLA.
Yeah, well,
jersey there.
Supporting sister.
Yes.
So I love the sister-sister connectivity that's going to be here in LA.
Fires it up and knocks back a 3.
Swing the basketball. That is what UCLA has done so incredibly well in this game. It's the recognition, the awareness, and the ability to make the proper read.
Yeah, particularly in the second half.
Yes.
They're playing up to their capability. Nice little move there by Tate, but can't finish.
6 points so far by Southern. And in that third quarter, they scored 7 points total. So a bit better continuity.
Barker up and in. The officials noticing there wasn't much contact at all. 69-39. So they have a giant lead, and a bank shot up and in by Gordine. With about 6 minutes to go here at Pauley Pavilion.
I thought maybe she got away with the travel there. Betts was tangled up.
Barker shoved, and she'll be going to the line. let's go back to the ball movement a moment ago.
Well, the teamwork by UCLA has really been impressive. Look, a great read. Lauren Betts averages 3 assists because of plays like that. It's the vision, and out of a double team on the block, it's the weak side that's going to be open. She recognized it and then completed the proper pass to make out of that.
You get up there around 19 assists, you know, this late in the game, you are really looking for each other. And really moving the ball effectively.
Yeah, no question about it. But if you're an interior player and you're averaging 3 assists, like, I don't think I had 3 assists for my entire career. Like, she is on average getting great passes out.
It went in, it never came back.
That's right. I'm shooting that thing.
That's right. That worked out pretty well. Holly?
Well, I was asking Lauren Betts where she thinks she's improved the most this season a couple weeks ago, and she said, I really think that my patience, and you're talking about her passing, so her stopping and surveying the floor and making that right read, you know, she's often double, triple, quadruple team, but she doesn't get sped up. And so her patience is where she's grown the most, and that's why she's got those assists, is her ability to stop, slow down, assess, and make the right pass.
Absolutely, and she's just masterful at it.
Nice catch, and a basket up and in. Duga Leach. Not an easy thing to catch that one.
No, I mean, that was one-handed on the weak side, and wow, in traffic to top it off. Degree of difficulty on 1,000 on that.
On the entry and a foul. Lidge will take the hit. And Tiana Lidge will be headed to the line, the senior, to shoot. Back to that one-handed grab by Duga Leach.
Well, if you can't get 2 hands on the basketball, then get one. Reach and stretch, holding off the defender with the other arm. So she held her off and got it. That was just excellent. It looked better from the baseline. It looked pretty good from where we are, from behind her, but face front, you could see all the technique that it took to hold her position and catch it and finish.
And rounded out by Lidge. So UCLA putting the pedal to the metal in the 3rd and 4th quarters.
UCLA has everyone on the floor right now who can initiate offense, right? They can take it off the glass. If they steal it, they can push tempo on their own. They don't have to get it to the point guard.
Travel. So Barker gives it back with 5 minutes left. And as of right now, we do not have a start time for Sunday's game, the next game here at UCLA, which will be between Richmond and the Bruins. I think we can safely say at this point. So that should be a heck of a game.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one. Again, see what Richmond is able to do in terms of their ability to space the floor in their 5-out motion offense. They were getting those backdoor cuts. And it was just a really thing of beauty to see the philosophy from the whiteboard be executed on the court.
On the entry, and Barker will take the hit. Janiah Barker, the junior from Georgia, headed to the line with 4.5 left. And coming up on Sports Center, more from Pauley. In South Carolina, Notre Dame making huge statements. Notre Dame with an injury. Round 1 wraps on both the men's and the women's NCAA tournaments coming your way.
Yeah, Olivia Miles going down with an ankle injury. Hopefully she is okay. She was able to leave on her own power, which is a good thing. Taking on a tough Michigan team with those 3 fabulous freshmen for Kim Barnes-Arico.
Then on the men's side, Cooper Flagg back.
Yes.
And looking really good. That ankle looks like it is healed up for the Duke star. They rolled today. Your favorite time of the year with these NCAA tournaments and so much going on.
One shining moment. There can only be one team, and that's the beauty of March Madness.
Under 4.5 to go, Gordine. Lawson, and a whistle.
She got deep down into the bag on that dribble drive, though. Hesitation, clearing space. Got really creative and crafty.
To Holly.
Well, I wanted to give Southern a shout out here. They have never stopped trying, even though they're overmatched here today. And just what an important run this has been for this team. You know, they get their first win in school history, the first for the SWAC in SWAC history, and just because this is the first year that they are getting units for the women's tournament. So that conference and this school will be rewarded financially with units because they've continued to play another game. That can be so huge for the conference and for this team. So really special run for Southern, and they continue to work so hard.
Jones just a lightning bolt one end to the other.
Yeah, just an amazing finish, but going back to what Holly was saying, yeah, I mean, for the SWAC, I mean, that's a huge deal to be the first to win an NCAA tournament game. This big-time history-making ability that they have created here for many to follow.
Under 4 to play.
Watch this little give and go and transition. Tough to stop that. Momentum to the cup. Straight to the rack for that finish in the open floor, and that's one way to break the pressure. Right, feed it, and then slice cut off of it, and get downhill at 100 miles an hour and finish.
The attendance tonight here at Pauley, 5,703 to watch the #1 team in the land, the #1 seed in the tournament, the #1 overall in UCLA. And they really gave something to cheer and shout about in the second half in particular, leading by 12 at halftime. Maybe having a little bit of a tougher time than some anticipated, but not in the second half.
Yeah, they tightened the screws in the halftime locker room, and I think, you know, just came to themselves and said, listen, we've got to do what got us here. We're playing on our home court. You know, Southern missed a lot of chippies in that first quarter. Could have been even a closer game at halftime if some of those had fallen for the Jaguars. But you can see the discipline of this UCLA team shining through.
Take a look at the shot clock down to 6. She'll drive it. And a wild effort, that won't drop. Marquez off to London Jones.
And London Jones just plays with so much confidence, and she's so power-packed. I mean, she's diminutive, but she's so strong.
Barker facing up to the basket on the drive, and a strong move for 2.
There's really not much you can do with Barker when she makes up her mind to be deliberate like that. And getting to the basket, she's so wiry and just extends her body so fluidly.
Contact there. Edwards will take the hit. And we'll head off to the foul line to shoot. So Southern will leave Los Angeles after picking up a well-earned victory in the NCAA tournament. And I think anybody who watched them here tonight against UCLA, the #1 team in the country, had to be impressed with just how hard they continue to play, how well coached they are.
Absolutely. And look, still coaching, and that's what it's all about.
So recapping what they did, the SWAC regular season and tournament champions, winning 18 of their last 20. Started the season 0-8.
I mean, that just speaks to the resilience, right? And the coaching staff, I mean, all of them. There's not just the head coach, every single coach over there. I mean, look at the assistant coach. He's in a stance. He's squatted down and imploring the team to execute. So that's why this team doesn't quit on the court, because they look over there and they see the inspiration to continue to compete, and that's a life lesson.
Well, in the end, the Bruins did what they needed to do, however, on a solid shot rolling off the iron. And a foul with 1:58 to go.
Well, Corey Close told us in practice, she said, you know, we want to attack the pressure of Southern. right? And we want to do that more off the pass and less off the dribble, and that's what we've seen in the second half in particular by the Bruins, right? In the first half, not so much. That's why they turned it over so many times.
Give me a look at the schedule and what's coming up. Our Saturday preview. UConn taking on Arkansas State. Saturday at 3, USC in action. And LSU on the floor against San Diego State at 10:15 Eastern Time. And Holly Roll, that's the other part of your employment out here in Southern California, covering that USC bracket.
That's right. I was able to go over and watch USC practice today, and they had a really wonderful 90-minute practice. And, you know, I was able to just briefly chat with Rhea Marshall, Juju Watkins, and just kind of get the feel for the team on what they're looking to do. Lindsey Gottlieb, their head coach, in a really good place as this team looks to make a long, deep run in the tournament. They have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. They're the 4th #1 seed. They thought they should have been higher given their record this season, but really great practice, and they're ready to take on the world.
Yeah, I mean, they've given UCLA their 2 losses. So, I mean, obviously they have the ability to do that. They just have to stay locked in, and that's what postseason is all about. It's a fresh slate for everyone. But in the back of your mind, you know what you're capable of doing. And they could meet again if both teams continue to win. They could meet in the Final Four. USC and UCLA, part 4.
A couple of teams and head coaches with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder coming in. Don Staley thought her team should have been the overall #1.
Yes.
And not necessarily UCLA, even though UCLA beat them very early in the season.
Right, and she said, you know, she may have to rethink how she schedules her non-conference.
Yeah,
because of that.
I would hate to think that would be true, because they take on anybody, any time of the year. And it's one of the things that makes them an amazing program, makes her a great coach.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, 19 quad 1 opponents for South Carolina.
And it's great for college basketball that she's willing to do that. So just a plea from those of us who get to cover those games.
Exactly.
We want to see the Gamecocks. We want to see them in those arenas filled to the brim, playing the best teams in the country.
Yeah, best fans, man. They follow the Gamecocks all over, and Dawn Staley calls them FAMS, F-A-M-S, and not fans. I love it.
Southern at the line, but UCLA with some really good defense. Southern without a field goal over the last 5.5 minutes. So here's a look. The lead 8 at the top seeds advance on to the Final Four, and of course the national championship in Tampa.
How about Kara Lawson, another DMVer, head coach for Duke.
Former colleague.
Yeah.
I remember working with Kara Lawson many years ago. But back in the day, and a driving lay-in here for UCLA. Arnasala will be head of the line as well. Many years ago, working with Kara when she was not coaching at that time, was thinking about coaching. And we used to do 4 games in 1 day in the NCAA tournament back then. Those days long since over, but she was great then. Great partner.
Oh, amazing.
Luckily, I've had a lot of great partners.
Oh, all DMVers, we love that.
Yes. Well, talent rich, that area, in more ways than one.
Yeah. Thank you, Opie.
And you and I are back at it, Christy, on Sunday at some time. We'll find out shortly when that game will be.
Exactly, I can't wait. Oh.
Picked up by Jones on the loose ball. And then Jones to drive it, the scoop. The final seconds here for UCLA. Jones thought about a 3.
Corey Close put the hand up like, do not take that shot. Very classy.
Well, UCLA rolls to an impressive win. 84-46. They are into round 2 on their home floor. The #1 seed and America's top team. The 12th straight win in a round of 64, 14-2 all time. Lauren Betts and company moving on into round 2.
Well, just a solid team performance by UCLA.
And a final score 84-46. They knock off Southern. What a fine year for the Jaguars after a really tough start, picking up a win in the NCAA tournament on this heralded floor, this legendary court here at UCLA. In the end, UCLA rolls to the win. For Christy Winter, Scott, Holly Rowe, and our entire crew at ESPN, I'm Dave O'Brien. Thanks so much for joining us as we say goodnight. And now it's time for SportsCenter.